morning everybody, how are we all doing? So, it is a beautiful Sunday, probably about 8:30 in the morning, and as you can hear, everything is alive and beautiful. It's so gorgeous, it's nice and sunny today. So, I wasn't necessarily going to do this video. It's a bit of a touchy one today, but at the same time I think it was sort of worth doing. A little bit risky, but worth doing. And it's really difficult because sort of when we get older, do we get more opinionated? And I'm not talking, sort of little opinions about others necessarily. I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about really sort of going against family members as well, and if you don't agree with something, or you really put your opinions across to the point where you hurt your family members, I don't know, how strong do we have as opinion, and where do we get these opinions from? So I know for a few weeks now over the videos I've sort of said in the past maybe that I've basically been studying the Bible a little bit, and I've been studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, straight away some people will have alarm bells and go, but to start with, the background is I worked with these people caring for the mother of the people that I see, and unbeknown to me, I didn't know they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I really didn't. They never let on, they never threw things at me, and it was just one day out of curiosity. Now, I asked a few questions, and which led on to me being interested and wanting to know more. And it was not something that was like forced upon me or anything like that. It was my own free choice to do this, because I wanted to know. I wanted to know what their opinion was of things. I wanted to know how passionate they were about things. And since growing up, I was brought up as an atheist. So I was brought up where, yes, there may be something there that has created us all, but we don't necessarily know what it is. Could be God. I didn't believe in the Big Bang Theory. And so my family had religion at one point. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, because I don't obviously want to upset anybody. This may upset anybody. Well, it may upset somebody or some people already, but it really has affected me as this. So my family had religion in their background, and because of that I was never brought up with religion, and I guess there was never any forcing, there was never any pushing to believe in anything or any one in particular. So going back to with the family, as in the family I worked with, I started studying, and in actual fact it was with a couple of people as well. So like one of their friends came, who I got to meet as well, who again, lovely people, really down to earth, really respectful. And it was just such a refreshing change not to feel judged, or to have somebody so opinionated, or not to necessarily be forced into doing anything they didn't want to. So I studied for a bit, and the last few weeks I really enjoyed it. And I have been to sort of the Kingdom Halls a couple of times, and again it's been quite an eye-opener for me, because so for example you walk in and you're either met with or greeted with a handshake or a hug, and it doesn't matter who you are, whether you know these people, it's a handshake or a hug. And when I say the respect of these people are just, it left me in awe, which is why I continued to go for a little bit. And I'm not saying that I'm converting, or that, yes, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, because I'm not. I don't believe in that. I don't believe I'm doing that. But at the same time, these people, I guess, have accepted me no matter, the way they look at it. We've all sinned in his life, which we have. We've always made mistakes. We've done things wrong as humans. We've maybe not had the best intentions at heart in certain situations. But at the same time, even to the younger ones, they teach such respect. So one of the times that I went, for example, and there was I think he was about 14, 15-year-old lad that I'd never met. I'd met his mum, but I'd never met him personally. And he literally came round every single person and shook their hand, said, "Good morning, miss." And I said, "Good morning." And he said, "How are you today?" And I said, I'm really good, thank you." And he says, that's good. He's like, "Have a good day." He's like, "My name's such and such." And he just sort of said, "Nice to meet you." And then went on to the next person. And I just thought that was so lovely. Just the respect that he'd been taught. I mean, his mum hadn't forced him to do that, or told him, "You've got to go around, everybody shake their hands and say hello." He did that off his own accord. And I just thought that was so lovely, so respectful. And the other children as well, they're just so loving, so gentle. They're taught respect and to respect each other. And one of the things that I've been learning with them is respect each other no matter what the opinion. So regardless whether you've got a difference in opinion, that doesn't mean you hate each other or that you judge people. The way they look at it is you look at people's backgrounds and see where they're coming from. I mean, within the congregation, there was people from Sikh background, there was people from Catholic background, there was people from Baptist background that had basically started attending. And there was also a couple of people like myself that were curious, that wanted to know more, that had only sort of been a couple of times. And it was lovely to share our opinions about it. And so, me being me, I was really happy, and in actual fact, like, because it's been, I've forgotten how many hundreds of days now, but it's been since 1st of January anyway that I've given up smoking. And it was sort of from then onwards, pretty much, that I was studying. And no word of a lie, so for years and years I've struggled to give up smoking. Struggled like mad. I've tried cold turkey, I have tried with patches, I've read the Alan Carr book twice. No sort of... I guess there was inclinations to stop, but it's sort of I couldn't keep stopping. I'd stop for so long and then start again. So when I started, I was encouraged to pray about it, which I did. And I still don't fully understand it. I can't, whether it's a mind thing, whether it's just a thought process, I really don't know. But I prayed about it, and I prayed that I didn't have any cravings, and I thanked God for my day. And come 1st of January, I had no cravings. And bear in mind my partner smokes as well, so there's always that inclination to smoke. There's always that opportunity to smoke. And I've nearly done 4 months of being smoke-free with not one, honestly, not one craving. Now, people might find that bizarre. People might say, oh, yeah, right, but I'm being genuine when I say that. And every day since, I've thanked God for helping me to do this, because I honestly think there was something, that I can't explain that helped me to stop. But whatever it was, it worked. But going back to sort of the people that I've been studying, the hall that I attended a couple of times, the people that I'd met, every single study that I'd been on, and I'm not saying, I hold my hands up and I say, I don't know whether I believe 100% as to every single Bible study. I think there are a lot of things that have the possibility to have been changed or rewritten, or I think there are some things which have been hidden from us, over the years. And one of the things that I've always done throughout every study is I've always had questions. So I might think of a question and I will throw it at them and they'll go through it, or they'll go do some research and come back to me with an answer. I'm not saying I believe 100% every single Bible study or every single paragraph or word in the Bible, but regardless of that, even if it is a story, some of them are quite nice stories. And I guess as well, it's the people. So the people that I've met along the way have been amazing, and as I said, non-judgmental, down to earth and respectful, not pushy in every single way. I mean, there is so much negativity about Jehovah's Witnesses as people, and I think from what I've seen, it's more rife in America, so there are more penalties if you sin or if you don't follow their way to a certain T. I think there is certain consequences. But over here, and from what I've seen, not as much so. And I mean, some of the stories that I've heard from people that have attended as well. So a couple of people that have been or had been going longer than me. And one of the stories, for example, was they were catching a ferry to Ireland, and due to traffic and everything, they'd missed the ferry. And the next ferry was going at like something daft, like 3 o'clock in the morning, so they had like either 6 or 9 hours to wait. And they didn't know what to do. They really didn't know what to do. Because they weren't driving. So these people at the time went to a phone box, looked in... When I say phone box, you can obviously imagine how old this is. Looked in the phone book and looked under Jehovah's Witnesses and actually called the local centre to that area. Now, they told me within sort of half an hour, somebody will be with you, love, we'll come and get you. An old gentleman came, must have been in his 70s, 80s, came, picked them up, took them to their house with their wife, their family. They gave them tea, they let them have a few hours kip, and this gentleman actually walked this lady down at 3 o'clock in the morning to make sure she was safe to get on the ferry to go to Ireland. And they weren't judgmental. They yeah, we'll come and help you, don't you worry. They cared for this lady so much. It was such a lovely thing to hear. And when you think about nowadays, you think, if you rung any random person and said, oh, I'm stuck in such and such, they'd just be like, and what? But because this lady was studying, it was lovely. It was like, yeah, we'll come and get you. Don't you worry, we'll help you out. And one of the things... Oh, Max has seen a squirrel, he's off. One of the things that, I've seen myself, I've witnessed, is that they are so readily there to help everybody. I mean, I've got work through this couple. I have got work for them. Well, they haven't pushed me or forced me in any way. They're not... It's not like brainwashing, because as I said, regardless whether I believe 100% or not, they're very open to my opinion, and they allow me to learn, to study at my own pace, to have my own opinion on things. And as I said, it's, whether we agree, whether we disagree, that's okay. And I guess one of the things that some people say is that oh, Jehovah's Witnesses, and they go through the Bible, and, everything is through the Bible, and yeah, I can see that, I can understand that. But at the same time, what does that matter? Does it really matter that much that they do? That they have such passion and such, dedication to the Bible? When you have such respect, when you have such non-judgmental views. I mean, these people don't fight in wars, which I have to hold my hands up and say I do agree with. They don't fight in wars because God, who put us on this earth, didn't want us all to fight. He didn't want us to kill another human being, which I respect, and I don't feel like you should have to. A lot of the wars that we see, a lot of the wars that we have seen, have been political to some degree, and about money and power and difference in opinion again. And, regardless our opinion, we shouldn't have to fight over it or, hate each other so much over it. And so this video in particular, so the things that have happened is my family in particular are highly, highly against this, about me studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, because they were brought up with a different religion, and they, in that respect, know everything about this religion, know that they brainwash people, that, it's a cult, that it's what they teach isn't the right thing. And so to a degree I've been blackmailed into not doing it. Which hurts. And to some degree this isn't the first time that my family, my close family should I say, have gone behind my back or spoken to somebody else about this. That they have voiced their distrust in me to make my own decision. And I think it hurts, it really does hurt, because they've been unwilling to sort of listen to my experience of it, my actual experience. So I feel really hurt, because they were very vocal about their opinions on mainly Jehovah's Witnesses. And the people that they spoke to also had their own opinion of it as well, which is sort of where the blackmail came in. And I don't know, this is where I said about family and things. I love my family, and I understand that a lot of it is them being protective, and I just feel hurt. I just feel a little bit hurt by it. I'd had such a brilliant week and really positive at work, and in actual fact, by attending the halls, by studying, like I said, I go on about respect. It teaches how to be a brilliant human being, how to respect each other as people, not having that hatred, not having that fear of being judged, but at the same time, because I'm not studying with a different religion, they're highly against it, and it really has hurt me because it's made me happy by doing this. It's made my experience and my thinking of life more positive. The things that they teach, like I said before, I'm not converting, I'm not being a Jehovah's Witness. I think they're very misjudged people because of history, because of opinions of the past of them, because certain people, for example, may have had really bad experiences. In America, as I said, there is more cult sort of backgrounds regarding Jehovah's Witnesses. And I think over the decades things have changed. I mean, you look at every type of religion, there is not one religion that is against sin or that hasn't sinned as a religion. And yet Jehovah's Witnesses are seen in such a bad light. And as I said, from my own experience, I've not had any of that. All I've seen is positivity, love between one another, respect for one another. As I said, regardless of your opinion, regardless of your belief, they are very open to questions. And the Bible itself, like I said, I don't necessarily believe every single story, because I think certain things over the years, I mean, the Bible was written, thousands of years ago. And so you have that ability to have it changed. You have people that swear by some of these stories that, this is how it is and this is what the Word of God was. Nobody knows 100%. You cannot tell me 100% this is exactly how it is. Excuse me. But at the same time, that's no reason to hate against each other. So to make me feel like I'm bad, like I'm doing the wrong thing, like I don't know what I'm talking about, that, a lot of these things have come from maybe a bad experience with them as people, maybe, the opinion that they have is from others' views, from the stories they've heard, things they've maybe seen in the past. When you actually witness it and you see it for yourself, this is why I thought I'd do this video today, because I really do feel like they're misguided people. And again, I specify, everything for them is through the Bible, through Bible teachings, and again, it might not be 100%. I'm not suggesting that they're right in what they say and everything that they teach, but It's the respect, it's the love, the compassion, the understanding, the support. The fact that we've all been created as human beings, that we are all in a way equal. We're flesh and blood, we can have love in his hearts. We don't have to be judgmental or have hatred for each other based on differences of opinion, because when you look at those opinions, where have people got those opinions from? It's from others, it's from testimonies, it's from maybe, as I said, bad experiences. My personal experience has been a positive one, and it made a positive impact on my life. And even my partner said to me, this was, I don't know, maybe a month ago, when I started studying, I haven't been as stressed, I haven't been as off balance, maybe. I've been a lot calmer within myself. And I think it's because of what I've learnt. It's difficult, as I said, because going back again, I'm possibly repeating myself sometimes, but I do love my family. I respect my family, but it's the fact that I don't feel respected, I guess. It's almost like I don't know what I'm talking about, like I'm being misguided, and it's upsetting. The fact that my family have gone behind my back to talk to others about it. It's a hard one. Sort of, how are you with your children? If this was your children, for example, would you respect their decision, or would you be so against what they're doing, or when it comes to a difference in religion or a difference in opinion regarding a group of people, would you be so vocal as to, I guess, be blackmailed into never studying or never going to the Kingdom Hall? If you saw such a positive change in your children, would you allow them to carry on? And I'm not forcing my opinion on anybody. I'm not saying, like I said before, I'm not saying, oh, the Bible is word, this is what they say and you've got to believe this. What they're teaching is the truth. I honestly don't think every religion teaches the truth. I think there's always some twist in the story. And I don't want to upset anybody by saying that. By saying that there's always a twist, because I know there's always going to be one religion or another out there that's going to say, we tell the truth, our religion is the truth. When you look back at history, there are so many times where things have been changed. If you don't believe in what I believe, then I'm against you. I don't agree with that. To the point where people are fighting about it, though, arguing about it, hating each other because they can't agree on the same thing. What does it matter? Honestly, what does it matter that people don't share the same views? If you respect each other and the love for each other is there, everybody's different. We're all individuals. We're all human. Like I said before, we've all been there and made mistakes. Nobody's 100% perfect. You know, looking back, nobody ever has been. But we're flesh, we're blood, we're human. If there was more love and respect for each other on this planet, what a difference this world would be. Honestly, what a difference this would be. And sometimes as well, it's like you wonder why children are the way they are, why I guess teenagers are like they are right now. They're so passionate, and where does that passion come from? A lot of it is generational. You know, it's been passed down as the information, it's been handed down because of that, because of the information that has been passed down from generation to generation, because of that hatred of different people, of different religions, of different opinions. It's followed through and followed through to the point where now people are killing each other because of difference of opinion, because of the way they've been brought up, because of what people look like. Everybody's so judgmental now. But yeah, it makes me emotional. It really does make me emotional. You know, look into people's background is all I'm going to say. Look into who they are as a person. Don't just look at their religion. Have respect for each other. Love each other. You know, regardless if you don't have the same opinion, if you don't believe in the same thing. You know, we're all put on this earth for a reason. We're all trying to live as lives. Some are struggling more than others, but you know, we're human. Let's just make this world a better place and just get on. Agree to disagree, and let's get on. Why can't life be like that? Yeah, and again, I apologise if this has offended anybody, if some people don't agree. Like I said, that's fine. You know, love, not hate. If you've got a bad opinion about it, please don't put any nasty comments up, because I don't want to hear it. Things like that only hurt others. Hopefully you all have a brilliant day, and hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully I haven't offended anybody. I just wanted to, I guess, make the situation known that not only that I'm in, but that in others may be in similar positions where family doesn't always agree on the choices that we make. But without further ado, guys, I'll love you and leave you, and I shall see you all very soon. Take care and have a brilliant week. Bye.